I'm Pastor T, and I'm sitting in for Von True this afternoon with the fantastic Melida Skeet Smith. You have probably heard her voice. It's very distinctive. You might have participated in a concert that she has curated and directed. She's won awards all over the greater Los Angeles area, and now she is participating in a real way in resolving the issue of homelessness here in the greater Los Angeles area with the Yo-Yo Peace Home. I want to welcome my friend, our guest, musician, singer, songwriter extraordinaire, Melida. How are you?
Wonderful. It's my great pleasure to be here with you this afternoon, and I'm looking forward to this show and sharing some things. So this is a wonderful opportunity.
Excellent. Well, I'm going to say, first of all, Melida is a singer, songwriter, arranger, musician. She's a choral director. She's the CEO of a 501c3 nonprofit. We'll hear about that later. She's also currently continuity director for the Intercom Radio, formerly known as CBS Radio in Los Angeles. She's released 3 inspirational CDs, Where He Leads Me, Be a Witness, and Be Still My Soul. All available on iTunes, so when you finish watching this, go get your phone, go to iTunes, pick up her projects. It's also available on Amazon and other online outlets. So with that kind of out of the way, visit skeetmusic.com. Okay, that's all out of the way. Why music?
Music has always been a part of my life. My family was very musical. My father played the violin. We came from Central America. I was Panamanian born.
Oh.
And my father played violin, and my brother played about 7 different instruments. My mother played the guitar, and the rest of my family sang. So I grew up around music, all my life. My dad actually, when we came here in about 1960, he was the violinist in the LA Philharmonic Orchestra.
Wow.
Yeah, that was when we first came. So I've always been musically inclined, and influenced by my family. It was a thing in our home where my father made every one of us play the violin, whether we wanted to or not. And we hated it because he'd always, we were little kids, and he always wanted us to practice like when our favorite cartoons came on. He's like, shut the TV off. We're going to practice now. And I'm like, oh, so maybe we would have liked it better, but he just always picked the worst times to do that.
No, little kids never want to practice. We had to learn an instrument, and they didn't make us. My parents didn't make us become completely proficient, but we had to take at least a year just for the training. I had piano. Now, I really liked piano lessons, and I liked playing piano, but I did not like group lessons. I had group lessons. I had to sit there in this whole bullpen full of kids, each one not getting the notes, the twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, you had to listen to it 10 times. I said, I can't do that, Mom. I'd rather not. I'd rather not. She said I had to finish the lessons. I finished the lessons. But that was the last piano lesson camp I had.
Yeah. When I was growing up, I had a good ear for music. So I wasn't ever like trained. I have an ear, so I just always thought that everybody else could. I thought everybody could sing, actually. When I went to elementary school, I had a good ear and I could always harmonize it, just something that came very natural. And I didn't realize that everybody couldn't sing until, I got into choir, and teacher was trying to teach us harmony, and the kids, some of them just really couldn't sing. And that's when I realized, I'm like, oh, everybody, this is not something that everybody can do. So
isn't that interesting? A music-rich environment. You know, studies have proven that children in utero can hear because their ears develop, I think, around the 5th or 6th month. Once they can hear, whatever music you're playing as the woman who's pregnant and whatever her environment is, that child imbibes some of that spirit, because we know spiritually that there are spirits that travel in and through music. Isn't that interesting?
It's very interesting. I don't know.
So your whole household was kind of an environment, a petri dish of musical spirit.
Yeah, I believe that. Mm-hmm.
Do you have a sibling that is not musically inclined or is not proficient in music?
Actually, it was only one sister that I had that she it's funny because she really couldn't sing, but she was the one who taught me to sing.
Wow.
She taught me harmony because we'd wash the dishes, and she'd always make me get a little stool and stand up next to her, and she was always teaching me to sing harmony with her. But she wasn't like the one to really sing. But, you know, I attribute a lot of my singing abilities, including like harmonies and stuff like that, to her.
Interesting. Training, like in The Sound of Music, when they would go out, when Julie Andrews had them go out in the field and sing the Do Re Mi. I did not know that was an actual process of teaching children music until years later. Isn't that cool?
It's very cool, yeah.
So my question is, why spiritual music? Why sacred music?
I would have to say that as long as I can remember, I was always spiritually inclined. I mean, I don't know if everybody is or not, but I was always in tune to something greater than myself and greater than what I was seeing around me. It was just something that I was instinctively aware of, that it was something out there that was greater than me. I used to spend a lot of time laying on the grass and just looking at the skies. I think maybe a lot of kids don't do that now because of video games and different things like that.
They'll get a rash from all the pesticides in the grass.
We didn't have that, and so a lot of the times that when we were growing up, we didn't have all that. When we were like probably poor, and so we made our toys. We was out there with popsicle sticks, you know, making things, and so we used to lay the blankets out, and I spent a lot of time just looking up the skies. And so I was always, spiritually inclined to something greater than myself. And so when I heard music, my parents were in the church. I grew up in the church. Mm-hmm. And so I was always around music, choirs. My dad was a choir director, so I had to go to choir rehearsal with him. So I just had this music all around me. So I just picked it up, and I believed at a very early age in something greater than myself. And so it just was a natural fit for me to continue with spiritual music, with gospel music, inspirational music especially.
So I'm wondering about the juxtaposition of spiritual music, sacred music, and jazz, and current R&B, particularly the new R&B. What do you think about that? Is there an influence, or has it departed so much, or are the roots someplace else?
No, I think the roots are really the same place, because people in whatever age, they are singing about their experiences, is what they're singing about. They may have different ways of expressing that, but jazz, gospel music, even the music today, they're still talking about relationships that work, relationships
that don't work.
Drama in your life. I mean, it really is the same
She's a gold digger.
Stuff, It's sad to think we're not going to make it. They're still saying that stuff in their own way today. But it's all about the infamous relationships that do or do not work.
I need a soldier. I think so. That's interesting.
Yeah, so I've narrowed it down to that. I mean, we're still singing about our life experiences. And so a lot of times people say, oh, I don't know why they're singing that type of music, or it's like, that's what they're experiencing, unfortunately. If you don't like it, that is their life. I mean, a lot of times they're singing about what they're experiencing. So if you don't like it, that may be what they're going through, and that's what they're expressing.
So in the Bible, which is kind of my manual, there's this book called Lamentations. And most pastors don't teach out of Lamentations, because Lamentations is really just a bunch of complaining and whining and sorrowful sayings. But it's about the vicissitudes of life, the ups, the downs, the sad places, the things that don't turn out right. I think that today's music, particularly R&B music, is really like Lamentations.
It is. It is. Like I said, everybody's still talking about the things that don't work in their lives. That's what brings a song out, because a lot of times I think you, through music, get to expel some of the hurt and the pain. Mm-hmm. Even if you're going through a hard time, if you listen to something that really relates to you, you don't really feel as alone. Like, am I the only person going through this? No, other people are going through this. And so a lot of the hits is because it taps into that a lot of people say, I'm going through that too. And they relate to it.
Isn't that what they say about, well, first of all, back in the day when they had albums, and you would read the line notes, it really talked about the why of the song, or not just who was on it, even though that was really important, but what was the inspiration for this song or that song, or why did you call this artist in? When Adele made her groundbreaking album, she'd been through an incredible heartache. And then out comes this incredible music, just arresting. Anyone who heard it was like,
there's a scripture that says, it's tried in the fire, and they come forth as pure gold.
Yes, yes.
A lot of people who really excel are healing from deep hurt in their lives, and they're using success as a catalyst away from the negativity that they might have experienced. I mean, case in point is the lady who created Harry Potter.
Oh, yes!
Tyler Perry. It just goes on. Oprah Winfrey.
Yes.
These are negative things that they have gone through, and they have excelled because they use it as a thrust, to heal from all the things that they have gone through. And so a lot of times I've noticed now, and now that I'm a little older, and I hear people when they go for their awards like Grammys or something like that, and they'll say, I want to thank God for bringing me through, that it's the truth. Because I think anybody who's experienced any kind of success, you have to go through some deep, dark, I think it just comes with trying to be successful.
Yeah,
I really believe that. I think it's just,
so.
There's some law out there that says you have to suffer first before you make it. And so likewise, if I ever make it to something grandiose, I'll be right up there with them going, look, I like to thank God, because if it wasn't for him, I would have never made it.
Well, one of our, as Christians, one of our chief commandments is deny yourself. That means you're going to suffer. Because if you have to deny yourself, that means it's something you really want to do, or you really want to have, or you really want to be. But deny yourself. Pick up your cross. Okay? Now that means that you're going to have to carry a burden with you. And you're going to have to carry it with you. Isn't that what Paul said? Paul had a challenge. He asked God, please get rid of it. Please get rid of it. Please get rid of it. And God said, my grace is sufficient for you.
In other words, I'm not going to let you get out of it.
No.
That's what God is saying.
That's your cross.
He said that to his son. His son said, look, is there another way that I can not have to do this?
Come on.
And he said, but if it's your will, I'll do it. And so I would have to say that a lot of times when we pray for him to take it away, he's not doing it.
No, because it is the thrust. It is the fuel for your success if you let it. right?
If you let it.
Pick up your cross and follow me. Follow the way of Christ.
Oh, here's a song for you. What doesn't kill you make you stronger. It's the truth.
Sure.
And so it goes back to what we said about people singing about life's experiences.
I thought about stormy weather. Don't know why. There's no sun up in the sky. Stormy weather. Since you and I ain't together.
There goes those bad relationships again.
But just the thought of taking the tool, the gift of music, and singing about the human condition or playing about the human condition. I think that's probably why jazz touched so many people. At the time that jazz got its big thrust in American society, there were a lot of people going through some things, right? You had the roaring 20s when people were becoming very, very wealthy, very, very fast, and a lot of people were not. You also had the bums and the homelessness and the ghettos becoming bigger and bigger in American society. Then you had the crash and all the people jumping out of windows and killing themselves, etc. And then you had the Depression, the Great Depression. Through that entire time, jazz was the sound of America.
And taking it back even further is the Negro spiritual. Which are slaves sang to, console themselves about their situations, and that, as even though they worked and they knew that there was something better for them, and a lot of times they sang about that.
Yes.
So I recently was at my desk at work under a lot of stress, and I wrote a Negro spiritual my own self.
What?
Called "Save Me Now."
But I love it, right? Isn't that what, it's the fuel. It's the fuel. If you listen to the songs that move us, even if they're up-tempo songs, they are songs that talk about the human condition, and generally it's some form of acknowledgement that things might be one way, but tomorrow they'll be a different way, right? The linchpin song in Annie, tomorrow or yesterday.
Yeah, all my troubles seem so far away. But now it looks as though they're here to stay.
Here to stay. So I wonder how many songwriters, how many lamentations are being created today within the greater Los Angeles area, with the homelessness population exploding the way that it is. I know that you've taken the bull by the hands and have decided to do something. You want to talk about Uyoyo Peace?
Uyoyo Peace was birthed from a peace breakfast that I had to sing for. And it was people from Africa as well as UCLA doing like a peace summit to discuss the violence that's in both communities here in the United States as well as Africa. So one of the gentlemen that came from Africa, I asked him, they wanted me to sing, so I was like, well, what am I going to sing? And I thought of a song. I'm like, well, that's kind of lame. I want to do something a little bit different. So I asked him, I said, well, how do you say peace where you come from? He was from Nigeria, Delta State, Nigeria. So I said, well, how do you say peace where you come from? He said, Uyoyo.
Oh.
So he showed me how to spell it, and I said, well, maybe I'll write a song and sing it. And he said, that would be wonderful, and I was thinking, what did I just get myself into? And it was funny because for 3 days I had nothing. I was like, what am I telling these people I'm going to write a song and I don't even know what's going to happen? So To make a very long story, probably long, it was like 11:45, and the whole song came to me. I ran downstairs, got in my car in the garage, so I didn't want to wake anybody up at 11:45 p.m. at night. So I got my tape recorder and I recorded the whole song and just made some notes. And then I went to sleep, and I was so glad because that morning I couldn't remember anything about how that song went.
Wow.
So if I hadn't have recorded it, I would not even remember, or it would have come out a different way. So that following Monday, I went in the studio and recorded a little bit, just so I wouldn't forget my whole idea. And I let him hear it, and he played it for some people in Africa, and they went berserk. I say that to say that the song actually became my motto, my mission statement for my nonprofit. The lyrics are, everyone lend an ear. We can't live with hate and fear. We must search high and low, find the way that we must go. We need peace in the neighborhood, ooh yo yo, and eternal good. Which eternal good to me is well-being.
Yes,
in other words,
yes.
A place to sleep, a place to eat. That's well-being.
Yes.
We have to work together to find a way. We need peace in the world today. And those were the lyrics. And so...
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm going to put you on the spot. Don't you want to sing just a couple bars?
Well, it's the rhythm is Caribbean. So with me singing a cappella, you may not get that. But the couple of lyrics, I'll sing the first verse.
Okay.
It just goes, everyone lend an ear. We can't live with hate and fear. We must search high and low, find the way that we must go, 'cause we need peace in the neighborhood, ooh yo yo, and eternal good. We got to work together to find a way. We need peace in the world today. And then, it has the chorus. So,
I love it.
Yeah, so and when I sing it, people, it's a feel good clappy song. So a lot of people, and I say ooh yo yo, and then they return back. So, but 3 years ago, I decided to actually listen to the words, and I said, people tell me that all the time. Just recently, I was going through something, and this lady came up to me and she said, "You know what? You need to listen to your own songs." I was like, okay, man, I might try that. So I listened to this one, and I decided to create a nonprofit 501c3 and to do something, my idea of what to do. Mm-hmm. So first of all, we cannot save everybody. You got to know that. So you have to find what you can do. So I was able to purchase a home with investors. It's the only way I could get it right away, because it was an opportunity that came, and they kind of liked my idea, so they invested in what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. The house was in really bad condition, so over the last year I've been restoring it so that it's functional. So now, fast forwarding from all that, the house is finally sort of almost done. Mm-hmm. And I have 7 people now staying at the house. It's affordable shared. And it's
That's
my spin on it. There's not a government assistance for just regular people who don't make enough money. They have programs for like alcoholic, or battered women,
substance abuse
or
domestic violence, or
something like that. But there's nothing for the average person who just work
and has a job and can't afford the $3,500 from one bedroom apartment in Los Angeles.
They can't do it. So my program, for $600, they share a room, and I go to the food bank. We get food in there. We have cans and stuff like that. Some of them can get their own food. They don't have transportation, but they're able to get utilities are paid. They have Wi-Fi. They have internet, and right now I have 2 success stories. One guy did have a record, and he wasn't able to get a job. Now he's managing an 80-unit apartment in Hawthorne.
But you just opened up. How in the world are you having success stories already?
They moved in about September of last year. Some of them. I've had 4 that have left, and I've gotten 4 just in the last 3 weeks. That 4 more came in.
Wow.
So
that's fantastic. So just average people who, for whatever reason, don't make enough to live on their own, but you're giving them an opportunity for a period of time to come and be able to either get a job or save money on their job so that they can level up.
I will say this, that because I don't know them. I mean, I know maybe 2 of them that actually came through, but I do come across those issues though. I'm not saying that we don't. They're not maybe under the government program, but I have come through with alcoholic abuse, some mental illness. I really have had it all just in the course of inviting people in. So it's not like I don't deal with all those issues, but it's not geared toward those issues.
Do you have a set intake program?
I'm making this up as I go, but I'm consulting with a lot of people who are helping me shape it to something that's a little bit more, structured, because I will need assistance and donations to help sustain this house.
So it's uyoyopeace.com.
.org.
.org.
That's UYOYOPEACE.org.
That's fantastic. So music pushed you into doing something for the community.
It pushed me into my purpose.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. I am so in love with music. And I love music for what it does for me. It lifts my mood. It calibrates my exercise. It sets me on course and on pace. But wow.